Your body still thinks it's 12,000 BC. You wake up tired. You feel anxious for no reason you can name. You sit all day and feel worse for it. And somewhere underneath all of it is a quiet suspicion that this is your fault, that if you were just more disciplined, more focused, more something, you'd feel the way a person is supposed to feel. You're not broken. You're mismatched. For hundreds of thousands of years, the human body was shaped by one kind of world. We walked many kilometers a day. We ate what we could hunt and gather. We slept when it got dark and woke with the light. We faced real danger, but rarely, and then it passed. That world built your body, all the way down to your hormones, your gut, and your nervous system. Then, in the last 12,000 years or so, a single eye blink in evolutionary time, we built a completely different world. And we're still running the old hardware inside it. A quick word on why I'm the one telling you this. I've spent my working life as a survival instructor and a mental coach, and I've written 2 books on survival and the psychology of staying functional under pressure. The same thread runs through all of it. Most of what we treat as modern weakness is actually an ancient design meeting a world it was never built for. That's the lens behind everything I'll write here. The technical name for this is evolutionary mismatch, and it is not fringe science. The idea has a clear origin. In 1985, a landmark paper in the New England Journal of Medicine by Boyd Eaton and Melvin Connor argued that the rise of modern chronic disease comes from a diet and lifestyle our genes never had time to adapt to. Decades later, Daniel Lieberman, a professor of human evolutionary biology at Harvard, gave the idea its fullest popular treatment in the story of the human body, where he devotes much of the book to what he calls mismatched diseases, conditions that emerge when the bodies we inherited collide with the environments we've built. The logic is almost embarrassingly simple. Evolution is slow. Culture is fast. When the world changes faster than our biology can follow, the gap between the two starts to show, as disease, as dysfunction, and as the low, nameless wrongness so many people quietly carry. Look at what we now call the diseases of civilization: coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, hypertension, several cancers, and many autoimmune conditions. A widely cited review, published in 2011, traced these back to exactly this mismatch: shifts in diet and lifestyle since the rise of farming, and especially since industrialization, that are simply too recent for the human genome to have caught up with. The striking part is the flip side. These same conditions are rare, or close to absent, in the few populations still living near the old pattern. I want to be honest about that review, because honesty is the entire point of this project. It was co-authored by some of the founders of the commercial paleo movement, so it argues a case. That doesn't make it wrong. The pattern it describes is real and well documented, but you should know it was written by people with a position. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to why it matters. But here's where the story gets interesting. This is where most caveman content drives straight off the road, and where the truth turns out to be far more useful than the slogan. The simple story goes like this. Ancestral humans moved more, so they burned more energy, so they stayed lean, and were heavy because we sit. Reasonable. Also, as it happens, wrong. In 2012, the anthropologist Herman Poncer measured daily energy expenditure in the Hadza, a community of hunter-gatherers in Tanzania who still forage on foot for nearly everything they eat. He expected them to burn far more calories than office-bound Westerners. They didn't. Once you adjust for body size, the Hadza burn roughly the same number of calories per day as you do. Their bodies appear to quietly rebalance the energy budget, spending less elsewhere to hold the daily total inside a surprisingly narrow range. Sit with that for a second, because it breaks the easy narrative. The mismatch is real, but it does not work the way the slogan says. Move more to burn more isn't the simple lever we assumed it was, which means the real answer to modern dysfunction is more interesting than exercise like a caveman, and the only way to find it is to actually look at the evidence. We will in the pieces to come. Now the part I refuse to skip. The mismatch idea is powerful, and it is also frequently oversold. The biggest mistake is imagining there was a single, perfect ancestral environment we're all precisely calibrated to, a Garden of Eden with a kettlebell in it. There wasn't. Marlene Zook, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Minnesota, takes this apart in her book Paleo Fantasy. Our ancestors lived in radically different places, ate radically different diets, and, crucially, evolution never stopped. It's still running. There is no one Stone Age to return to. So this is not a pitch for eating like a caveman, throwing out your shoes, or treating the Paleolithic as a lost paradise. The goal is not to go back. It's to understand the gap, and then close the parts of it that genuinely matter, guided by what the research shows, not by what the marketing promises. Here's the standard I'll hold myself to. When something is a documented pattern, I'll say so. When something is a plausible hypothesis, I'll call it a hypothesis. And when something is just my own experiment on myself, I'll label it as exactly that. Interesting, but not proof. That's the deal. You don't need a protocol today. You need a new lens. So start here. The next time that low, nameless wrongness shows up, the fatigue, the restlessness, the anxiety with no obvious cause, try asking a different question. Not what's wrong with me, but what is my body expecting that it isn't getting? Light it can read as day and night. Movement spread across the day instead of crammed into a single hour. Food it actually recognizes. Sleep that tracks the dark. Real rest after real effort. Faces it knows instead of 1,000 strangers scrolling past before breakfast. You won't fix all of it, and you're not meant to. But once you see the gap, you can't unsee it. And nearly everything I'll write here, across the body, the wild, and the mind, is a way of closing one piece of it at a time. This is the first idea in a much larger map. Primordial Protocol is built on 3 pillars: body, environment, and mind, and the reason they're one project instead of 3 is that the mismatch runs through all of them. Your physiology, the world you move through, and your inner life aren't separate problems. They're the same ancient system meeting the same modern friction, from 3 directions. You're not a broken modern person. You're a superbly adapted ancient one, doing your best in a world that arrived faster than your biology could follow. That's a far better place to start. If this way of seeing things resonates, subscribe. It's free, and it's the best way to get the next piece. We're just getting started.